But I also love Labubus.
What?
Okay.
What? All right.
It actually started with Blackpink Lisa, one of the girls who's gonna be touring soon, and
Yeah.
she had one, and then boom, it just started going, and it started going and it going.
Like, it's not even camp to me.
It's not even
It's
camp.
not, because sometimes I'm
It's
like,
got to be camp. Hello and welcome back to the K Factor, everything K-pop, hosted by Beomhan. Today we have another exciting episode for you guys today with art expert Nina Orm talking about the intersections of art and K-pop. Sounds a little boring, but this is something that I'm very passionate about and I'm very excited to bring to the people, which is also her mission. So this will be a great episode. To kick us off, though, we always have the latest news and updates that's happening in K-pop today. So something that's been happening lately is Jungkook. He's made his return from the military very recently, and he wore a Make Japan Great Again hat during one of his pre-concert rehearsals, and it immediately sparked controversy online. And it turned out to be this huge, crazy storm, but he immediately apologizes, and through his own words, said that he discarded the hat immediately, through his words. It turned from this huge kind of controversial storm to kind of an endearing moment where you realize his sincerity and how he actually cares about his fans and his feedback and everything. So that's what's happening with Jungkook, and that's something that happened and is now past. Stray Kids releases their first Japanese EP in 3 years, named Hollow, with the last one being Circus in 2022. K-pop idols releasing music in Japanese has been like this old trending thing that's been happening for like 10 plus years. And it kind of reminds me of like American artists kind of doing like songs in Spanish, and trying to like cross over to like their neighbors. This is kind of like Korea's equivalent. They make a Japanese album. If it does like well enough, then they'll make a Chinese album. And a lot of times they don't speak Japanese. They also don't speak Chinese. So I'm excited to hear that. And good luck, Stray Kids. Rose Apatu, my 7-year-old nephew's favorite song ever, is still in Billboard Top 100 for 35 weeks now. That is a record-breaking longest run in K-pop history ever. So congratulations to Rose and Bruno Mars. And Rose, with that, as we talk about Rose, there's also news happening with Blackpink. Rose will join her former bandmates Jennie, Jisoo, and Lisa for a tour named Deadline. People are kind of memeing the name because they think it's a little bit too soon for them to have a world tour. They're all kind of coming off of their solo projects right now, so they're like, "Oh, how are they going to fit this in their schedule?" And they're saying it's called Deadline. You know what? I'm not even going to make fun of it. I support them, and I hope that they will do great. I'm very excited to see how it will turn out. And with Blackpink coming back, BTS coming back, the final Infinity Stone in BTS Suga is coming out of the military. Finally. So this is an exciting time for K-pop right now. We have Boys Planet 2 coming out. My group that I was talking about 2 weeks ago, All Day Project, also made their debut. Last week, we took a little bit of a vacation from the podcast to kind of focus on all the preparations for the music video and all this stuff as we approach LA and the release of DUM. So thank you guys for understanding and your patience for kind of like the week without the episode. And yeah, that's what's happening. That's what's happening in K-pop today. And these are the exciting news. And we're going to move on to another segment that we have. On our Instagram, K Factor Podcast, we do fan engagements. We ask you guys to participate on the show. We invite you guys to come on. And this week's segment is you guys kind of submitting a question for us to answer live on air. The first question that we have is from Faytans.angel. And she asks, what was the hardest part of training? I want to audition for a company, but I don't know how it is. She's talking about K-pop and my time in Korea when I was training there. The hardest part about training is, I think, sleep. Every single day, I think I slept like 3 hours if I was lucky. And then it kind of like, it's not that bad the first day, and then it's not that bad the second day. And then the third day, you're kind of like, okay, this kind of stinks. And then by like the second year in a row, you kind of like, the alarm rings and you just gotta find a way to get up, and you just gotta get up no matter what. Never gets easier. And you want to audition for a company, but you don't know how it is. We have a bunch of conversations about K-pop on our podcast. You can find us on iHeartRadio app. And I talked to a former K-pop trainee I talk to like idols and all these things, and I hope you can find some inspiration about the experiences and kind of like the insight on what that's like. So thank you for your question, Phaetons. And next we have Molly K.K. She asks, can you give us some spoilers of the concept of the album or music video? Okay, so we have a song coming out called DUM, and a spoiler of the concept. What can I say? Sparkly. Yeah, that's all you get. That's all you get. Because, yeah, that's all you get. It's sparkly. There you go. All right. Next we have Harper Wilson 442. She asks, "What is your goal as an idol?" My goal as an idol, actually, I'll be able to answer this a little bit more in depth in today's episode because it's kind of about the nuances of art and like what it is that we represent. But I want to be there for people that the same way that art was there for me when I was a kid, and it's to have someone to look up to, have someone that they see that's very similar to themselves, and yeah, I want to inspire and I want to provide comfort for people. Yeah, that's kind of it. And if it works out for one person, then everything was a success. Next, we have BKM Entertainment. She asked, when can BKM have a cameo on the podcast? Honestly, probably next week. And that goes for all of you guys. If you guys follow us on social media at K Factor Podcast, you guys can find resources where you can sign up to be a guest on this podcast. This podcast is all about the fans, so if you guys want to engage and do all these things, just engage with us and we engage back with you. Live on air. So probably soon, BKM. And they told me to address you specifically, BKM, because you guys are amazing fans. So thank you. Next, we have Matty Barnier. She asks, what is a motivational quote you go by that helps? Wow. Motivational quote that you go by that helps. Wow. I picked this question and I don't even know. Maybe I'll ask Nina later. Maybe she could give me one. Sorry, Maddie. Next we have Julia _ Beomhan's girlfriend. Oh, okay. All right, that's news to me. That's K-pop news. Thank you, Julia. Okay, what are you doing now that you couldn't do as an idol before? And I love you. Oh, what am I doing now? I think see my family. That's pretty cool. I'm in New York right now, and I'm kind of living with my mom while I'm here, and it's so amazing. I get to wake up every day and see her, and it's like you kind of like take these things for granted, and like they're kind of like getting a little bit older. And when I spent like my 6 years in Korea, I talk to them like once every like 4 or 5 months, and I miss them so much. So that's something I'm doing now. So yeah, thank you for asking, Julia. And that's it for fan questions. And Maddie, we will get back to you. I promise. I need some inspiration these days. Maybe it'll help me. All right. This is our K-pop news. This is our fan questions. And next, coming up, we have... All right. Okay. Today's guest is a visionary at the forefront of culture, capital, and creative innovation. Stay with me because I've tried this probably 3 times already. Nina Orm is the founder and general partner of the Agora Fund, a venture capital fund investing in cultural innovation through the creative economy. Her work lives at the intersection of creativity, culture, and finance with a mission to reimagine how we fund, value, and sustain creative work in society. Stay with me. She's also the voice behind Creativity Meets Capital, a newsletter exploring the business of culture and the future of creative infrastructure, from fashion to film to fine art, and maybe K-pop. If you care about how artists, how creative industries scale, or how cultural movements shape global power, this is a conversation that you don't want to miss. Everybody, please welcome Nina Orm.
Woo!
Thank you for coming onto the show.
Thank
and
you for
I
having
am
me.
very nervous about this conversation because, like I told you earlier, I was scrolling through your content and I was like, this is a lot of big words.
No,
Yep.
don't be nervous. I'm nervous. You're nervous. I'm feeling your energy.
Okay. Oh, okay.
So we gotta be chill.
Okay,
It's
this is chill. This is
Yeah.
already me like kind of chill. Like I wake up and I start my day with like 6 coffees.
damn.
Yeah. And like
Oh.
I take like pre-workout before like going to the gym and stuff. Like I'm like a caffeine head. It's really bad. Yeah.
So you don't sleep much? You just
No, I do sleep a lot. That's the problem. That's why I have so much energy. It's
Oh
an
my
excess.
God.
Yeah, I'm
Wait,
trying to like shake it off at all times.
Ooh.
Well, okay. I just, this, sorry. So before we invited her on, she was like, I'm kind of like a yapper. Is that okay? I'm like, yeah, me too. So in order to not go through, like, kind of use up all the time that we have,
Yeah.
could you also talk about yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just a little bit quick hits about me. So I've always been a creative at heart. My mom kind of always would talk about like, Nina, you're like my little Renaissance child.
Okay.
And we were talking about before, like how I'm also Cambodian. My mom is from Cambodia. So when I pitched to her, when I was thinking about going off to college, I'm like, what am I going to do with my life? Creativity or career in that was not an option. She was like, can you get a real job? And to her point, I was just like, we only had so much information. She's gone through so many things in her life, especially escaping political violence in Cambodia. So the focus was always like stability and like financial security. So I went in and I worked in politics. That's where I started my career. And eventually I went into finance. But I'm an Astro girly. I'm a Pisces at heart. So I'm like, I was going through my Saturn return. I'm like, what makes me happy? Because finance, girl, it is not it, not in the traditional sense. So I was like, what brings me joy? What's gonna like get me to like get up in the morning on 110%? And I just thought the answer lies in your childhood. And for me, it was let's go back to being a creative, but apply all the skills we learned in politics, all the skills we learned in finance, and create a world that my friends and I can live in. And you don't have to sacrifice choosing between your passion and like financial stability. You can actually have both.
And this led to the thing that I was most excited for, the Agora Fund, correct?
Yeah.
What is
So-
the Agora Fund?
The Agora Fund is an investment fund. It's like the first of its kind creative investment fund that backs visionaries in film, fashion, art, and sometimes media. And we're basically saying, or I'm basically saying that creativity isn't just like a side project. It isn't just something like a floating thought or we just enjoy on our leisure time. It's actually a major asset class and it's the very bedrock and foundation of society and it drives innovation moving forward. And I'm just redefining how we invest in it.
Wow. And you're telling me that like what inspired this whole thing was like growing up with such like a passion for art, and then when you like dove into the finance world, like you're like, this is kind of like lifeless. You know?
Yeah. Like I always used to say that I'm like, they're kind of like spiritually bankrupt over there. They could use a little creativity.
Okay.
They could use an outlet. But
And you mentioned art as an asset, which
Yes.
which I'm very interested in. And also like I think the reason why like it's important for us to talk about in terms of K-pop too is because K-pop was one of Korea's biggest exports.
Yeah.
Like in the country, you know? So it's like this is proof that art can be an asset and all these things. So like where does that kind of notion come from for like the investors? Like what is going on in their head where they're like, oh, like I don't really see art as this.
You know, when I was starting the journey, I left my job and I like actually didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to help creatives and I knew I had the knowledge. So I worked at an art investment firm in New York. There is one, fun fact.
Okay.
And I took a sales job because I'm like, you can't have a fund, your own investment fund while you're working at someone else's.
Right.
So I was working the sales job and I would dial like 800 people a day. And they would be like managing directors, owners of hedge funds, like all of these like finance heavy or high net worth individuals. And they'd all say the same thing. Like, I don't know much about art and like, I don't understand this as an asset class. And so I would say, because I do it for the love of the game. So I love art so much that I've like, this is what I think about on my free time.
Okay.
And so I'd just be like, hey, from an investor standpoint, I'm like, if you're strictly for the returns, it's a great hedge for your portfolio. It outperforms the traditional market by like the S&P by 43%.
What?
For the past 30 years.
What?
Yeah. Now we're talking.
Okay.
And then there's something I think is even more valuable than just the financial, the cultural resonance, and how when I position the Agora Fund, when I talk about it too, it's like I'm ushering in the modern Renaissance. And the Renaissance happened back from the 1400s up until like the 1700s. It's always a little mushy there when we talk about the time period, because it's this period of like economic, technological, and cultural boom. So much advancement happening. And I think it's very parallel to what's happening now.
Okay.
I'd say the world's going through a transition period, whether it's through politics, whether it's through culture, and even like just technology on its own. And that was happening in the Renaissance. You had these creatives that were bankrolled by these families to bring in not just the art aspect, but like people like Da Vinci, where he drew up these weapons for the battles that they were fighting during that time period. So it served multiple purposes. But back to the Agora Fund with the Renaissance, I'm like, I'm just bringing in the Renaissance in modern times in terms of, it's not just a bunch of Italians with great talent, okay? It's like everybody under the sun that's historically been left out of the fold that people didn't see as backable.
Was there like a big financial supporter during the Renaissance?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the Medici family.
Okay,
where,
the Medici family.
Yeah, they were these powerful bankers in Europe.
Okay.
And they were like, I have all this money, I have all this influence, and I see these artists, these geniuses, these cultural visionaries. I can use them to my advantage to advance my own motives, but also leave something behind for people who don't have Medici money, right? And I think we've lost the plot a bit with our billionaires now in terms, maybe I'm a little shit, but it's true. I'm like, something about the fact the ones that we read about in the headlines all the time, they just don't understand what was laid out before them by I like to call them their colleagues, where they would give back to society. Like I think about the Vanderbilts, Grand Central, and they were a railroad family. But you walk in Grand Central, you're like, this is the most beautiful building I've ever seen. Or libraries, the Met Museum. These like places where you don't have to be a billionaire to appreciate the beauty of what was laid before you and learn about the past so we can bring about amazing change in the future.
I think it's cool how like these other things that are typically like invested in, right? Like it's a clear path. Like it's clearer for the investor. It's like, oh, like I invest in like science, I could probably like cure cancer. I don't know, I invest in this and like, oh, give me this amount of returns, right? But then there's significance in creativity.
Yes.
And supporting creativity. And a lot of the times, like you mentioned, when you were a little bit younger and you were like, hey, I'm gonna go do something creative, and they're like, "Oh, so you're gonna be homeless?"
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, like but the world is built by these creatives who are so pushed away by this. It's like we need doctors in the world, so we reward them with money, and we make it a promising thing to like kind of approach. And we also need artists, like even in like the Google workspace and like all these things, like they have like all these bright, vibrant colors to like promote like creativity and like all these things. Like it's an important thing. Right?
Yeah.
But then people don't really see that.
Which is crazy because to your point, since we were talking about K-pop, right? I'm like, this industry is the best example I can think of in terms of this is why you bankroll creatives. K-pop it's not just music to me when I look at it. I'm like, this is an empire and a very successful one at that. You have music, but you also have fashion. You have like these cultural moments that are known, that outlive sometimes like even artists or their moment in the sun, that inspire and branch off into other beautiful things. And we have like K-pop and all these groups. I'm still thinking about BTS and Butter with that Meg Thee Stallion. I was like, Meg Thee Stallion.
The first episode that we recorded, we interviewed the person who wrote Butter.
Yeah.
And they were talking about like how, and it was so beautiful talking about how like his life work was seen finally by the public through the vessel of K-pop. So it was like I kind of wrote down earlier, it was like K-pop is also an intersection of all these things, of finance and film and music and fashion and all these things, and most importantly also finance, because these companies like in Korea, the entertainment companies, they're backed by like these Korean conglomerates.
Yeah.
Who like they already know. They're like, yo, we invest in this. This is what's gonna take our country forward. You know, and then it did, and it paid off. And I don't really see that here yet. You know.
It's interesting because I know we were kind of talking before online about like K-pop in terms of AI, which is it's a dirty word in that creative industry, especially in K-pop, because I did a video on how the K-pop industry does a beautiful job of kind of giving these language learning models or LLMs and AI material to work with, so it knows how to like generate ideas with more cultural nuance, which a lot of technology does not have a lot of.
What do you mean by that?
So when these models are trained, they're trained through a very specific lens
Right.
of Silicon Valley or just one monolith. And what tends to happen is it doesn't capture everybody's experience and lived experience and the beauty in that. So you have all these cultures that get left off to the side because there's a very distinct perspective that's training the models. And then you don't get the best outcomes because you're not capturing what the world looks like every day when you walk outside, especially in New York City.
Okay.
So when we come back to like K-pop, I think it's great that it sets the tone of like, oh, okay, there's this one culture here, yes, but then they have a very beautiful formula of success tied to this culture that also strengthens the argument of creativity is a worthy investment. It's also still driving innovation.
Right.
And the K-pop world is the best example for this. And then I can go on and on about art, fashion. Oh my gosh. But K-pop encapsulates everybody in terms of like, especially influence. I'm still thinking about Lisa from when she was in White Lotus.
Oh,
like,
okay.
okay, girl, yes.
I think that's beautiful how it just platforms all these things.
Yeah.
Right. As kind of like the position, kind of from the position that you are looking into K-pop and like being like, this is kind of like what my work is about, but then it's not really an area that I'm 100% familiar with. What are the positives that you see in like in K-pop and like in the positives of K-pop growing as an industry and being more widespread?
I think the positives of the K-pop industry is I always think about community and how important it is in that we should be building it out a lot more. And I think a lot of brands, at least in the United States, like they kind of get it right. I think they just like look for the very quick, trendy things, and they don't do a good job building cultural infrastructure through community. And I think K-pop does an exceptional job. I mean, it extends beyond its home roots, and it's here like what it tackled the United States. I remember my coworkers would tell me about like, oh, I love this K-pop star, and I'm not 100% immersed in it, but it's the fact that it has that level of reach
Right.
to like this random girl. She was from Queens. This random like white girl from Queens. I'm like, girl, what?
And then it begins with
It's
K-pop,
like-
and then it's like you said, like a cultural product. So
Yeah.
then now I'm going to Ixmart, and now I'm probably going like buy some soju.
Yes.
I'll try some kimchi.
Yeah.
You know. And then like, oh, what's this? A K-drama on Netflix? I was here for Love Island, but I'll watch this.
Yes.
You know. So
Yeah.
it's like a cultural product that K-pop was able to bring. Like it brought Korea to the world a little bit.
Yeah, and I love that, and I think people need more of that. Like,
And like maybe so many things were inspired like from the seed of that too, you know, like Korean fashion being like more prevalent and like being bleeding into like other places and like how people wear their clothes, you know, all kind of from that seed of K-pop. That's pretty cool.
yeah, because I had to say, I always love when people are introduced to new things and cultures, but then I get mad because I'm like, why can't I buy anything that I want? It's like, it's too popular now. Like, cut the cameras, like, cut the brakes, right?
Was that an alley-oop? Were you alley-ooping me to the next topic? That was kind of crazy. Wow. Yeah. Speaking of which, one thing that we wanted to talk about was the Labubu toys. Have you heard about Labubus?
Oh my God, yes.
Okay. For people who don't know what a Labubu is, do you know could you explain it to them?
they're like these ugly little. I'm such a hater. They're like these little dolls with a mischievous smile that are super popular over in Asia. It started from some company in Hong Kong, right? But then they just took the world by storm. These ugly little trolls.
Oh yeah, they're so ugly. I love it.
So ugly.
I love how ugly they are.
They're
And-
like the Pete Davidson of toys.
oh wow, controversial take. I think he's a handsome guy. Pete Davidson.
Okay. All right.
But I also love Labubus.
What? What? All right.
It actually started with Blackpink Lisa, one of the girls who's gonna be touring soon, and she had one, and then boom, it just started going, and it started going and going. It started with her, and it's closing again with K-pop with the K-pop group 17. They recently collaborated on a special edition Labubu, and it kind of released with their new album, and it's selling for a record-breaking $31,000. That is a fully decked out 2025 Toyota Camry for a Labubu.
Okay, now I understand why people would say to me, why is a banana worth millions of dollars? I'm like, why is that worth a used car? Like, what are we like? Maybe a used car is aggressive, but why is that worth a Toyota? Let's no.
That's crazy. But then I see the same thing for like when I go to like a museum and I'm like 2.3 million? What? And like I also consume a lot of your content about the Safe Space Salon.
Yes.
And I love it. I love it so much.
Thank
you.
you.
And it's kind of like helping you understand that barrier.
Yeah.
Because the reason why people are asking why is because they literally don't know. Yeah. And then like once I watch your videos, I'm like, oh, I would pay $2.3 million for this,
Yeah, that's because people are like, why would I fund creativity? I'm like, well, I gotta explain to them what I'm looking at. And that's why I birthed Safe Space Salon. I'm like, this is what I'm looking at. This is why I care. But until someone creates a series about these damn Labubus, like I do not, they're so ugly. Why do you have that? I've seen that on, maybe this is my broke ass opinion of the day.
Okay.
I've seen Labubus on like those Hermes, Birkin, and Kelly bags. And I'm just like, I turn into Miranda Priestley. I'm just like, no.
I love it.
This is crazy. At least Pete Davidson, he's funny. Like that's hot. That's hot. These Labubus can't talk. They're just ugly.
Do you know a lot about cars?
A bit.
The same reason I want a Labubu is the same reason I want to drive a Maserati. Maseratis are useless. They're terrible cars. But it's a Maserati. And it's kind of like, they're like, that's kind of cool,
Okay, but there's a distinct difference between these Labubus and a Maserati.
Okay, what is it?
One of them is beautiful.
Yeah.
These Labubus are not beautiful. They're beautiful and useless. Like they're greedy.
Oh, okay.
They're both.
Okay. They're like
that's greedy.
Okay, they're ugly and useless. Damn.
Yes.
Damn.
You can only be one.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, that's true. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to add? Because I wanted to move on to the next section, but I feel like there's so much more to explore here.
Oh, we can yap all day about this one thing.
In 5 minutes?
No, at 5.
At 5. We got 15 minutes.
We have 15 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Understood. Okay.
So I have nothing to add.
No, you can add.
Are you
and
sure?
We'll just do less of that. Yeah.
My hot take is like, if you have a Labubu charm, I don't think you're fly. You don't even have the juice. You don't have the sauce. You don't have the juice because the juice is like you're temporarily like chill and cool.
Okay.
The sauce is like sauce never expires, so like it's forever.
Okay.
You don't have either or.
Everything
You are
expires.
just, like it's not even camp to me.
It's not even camp.
It's not because sometimes I'm like,
It's got to be camp.
yeah, like some things are not ugly; they're just camp. I'm like. This isn't like Y2K ugly. This is just like ugly.
Wow. Okay. Then if this is your least favorite thing, it's the opposite of timeless. It's timed. It's a trend. It's a fad. What is your favorite piece of timeless art?
Ooh.
What's the juice?
more like what's the sauce?
That sauce?
The sauce. Juice is
Damn.
like,
Damn.
you got it like that, but juice expires.
Juice expires.
Juice expires, but
Yeah.
sauce is forever.
Oh, sauce is forever.
Sauce is forever.
Damn. What's the sauce then?
It's always a competition between a couple, but the first one that always comes to mind is the school of Athens, which is a fresco.
Okay.
And when you type it in, everyone has seen it in a textbook. And I've had the chance to fly to Italy and see a lot of these works in person, which is amazing. And I love it because it's just all these Greek and Roman philosophers in this one agora. And they're talking about their different ideas and their perspectives. And there's one viewer that looks like directly at you who's viewing the work. Everybody else is kind of talking to each other in the fresco. And it's the woman, and her name is Hypatia. And everyone's like, who the hell is that? And Hypatia is actually the OG for everybody else in that setting. All these philosophers, all these visionaries, she taught them. They looked to her. And she was this woman who lived an unconventional life. She just was the pioneer of like, I make my own money. I'm educated.
She's the OG girl boss.
Yeah.
Wow.
And everyone should know about Hypatia. I remember learning about her, and I remember learning about that piece of work, and I was just like, I loved it. And when I was thinking of the Agora Fund and how am I going to market this thing? How am I going to get people to care? What am I going to anchor this in? And it came from me scrolling my phone of my past vacation where I was just taking pictures because I'm like, this is amazing. And it just like collects like dust,
Right.
digital dust in your phone. And I was just scrolling, and inspiration always hits when you least expect it. So I saw it, and I was like, that's how I'm going to talk about this. That's how I'm going to talk about how I'm going to redefine investment and creativity through the Renaissance, through me being like a modern day Hypatia.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I will digest that in a little bit. That was a lot of not that smart.
What? You can't say that. No.
Yeah.
Everybody's smart.
Everybody's smart.
You start asking me about nitty gritty K-pop stuff when we get to the game, you're going to be
okay.
like, I'm a fucking
And also,
You're gonna be like, I'm
must have been the wind.
savant. And I'm going to be like, ooh, put me in the remedial class. Because I love my butter. I love that. Because I love Meg the Stallion. I love everything she does.
Okay. And thank you for the motivational quote for today. I told you I'll come back to you. Juice expires, but sauce is forever.
Period.
Thank you. All right, let's move on to the next session.
Yeah.
And thank you, Nina. And a lot of things that you talk about, you encapsulate perfectly and wholeheartedly and authentically on your own social media pages. What is your TikTok for the audience?
Ooh. Do I look at the camera? I don't even know.
Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
So my TikTok is at It's Nina Orm. And then I'm also on Instagram at Nina Orm, YouTube Shorts. That one's at It's Nina Orm. And sometimes LinkedIn, I'm doing a little test there
Okay.
to see what the professionals like.
Okay.
They like to lurk on that platform.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
And then subscribe to my newsletter, Creativity Meets Capital on Substack. It's where I talk about how creatives can get funded, what investors, how they can learn about the creative markets, and just some cool guides or foods for thought.
Okay.
Because again, I love to yap in person and online.
If you ever have a upcoming museum date that you want to impress your date on, you can just go straight to Safe Space Salon.
Yeah.
And you will be the most sophisticated person this person has ever talked to.
No, literally. I got you.
Okay. So, Nina, as the art expert that you are and we have established here, I would like for you to react to some K-pop music videos.
Oh, this is fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
so just maybe give your thought on it. Just watch it.
Okay.
Because this is what I love, and I want you to also experience kind of like the intersection that she like kind of showed here. All right. So this first piece is Red Velvet. Feel My Rhythm. Can we pause it? Can we pause it? What do you think so far?
Well, I can see exactly when they pulled their where they pulled the inspiration from.
Okay, okay.
The artists in particular, immediately, I was like Renoir and Monet, the types of the style, especially in the beginning, especially with the heavy French themes. I immediately, because I've been to Paris in that exact neighborhood where it all began. Oh, wow. Yeah, we should talk about some other time. We'll talk about the amount of traveling I've done with just a vibe and a backpack and a hostel.
Just
But
taking in art.
yeah, I can see. I'm like, immediately puts me in that era where they were funny enough. Monet and those other artists from that time period around like the 1800s, they weren't accepted into the traditional art fold. The salons, which was like a place of education and just to show off your fancy stuff, would not accept them. So they created their own. And look at that. They were the blueprint, which is my intention of bankrolling the next blueprints, to be honest. So I was looking at it, I was like, I can see where the inspiration comes from. And it just is like France in that time period. Wow. I love it.
Okay.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay. Great answer. Great answer.
Okay. I was like, is that too educational?
No, that's exactly what we want. That's beautiful. All right.
Oh, wait.
Sorry. Could you pause it? Could you go back, please? Yeah. This next one that you're going to be reacting to is AT's Say My Name. All right.
Ooh, Destiny's Child.
Wow. Okay. You can pause. All right. Is there anything that you notice or enjoy specifically about this one?
Oh my gosh. From an art perspective, I'm like, the inspiration for this is a concept known as memento mori, which is Latin for remember you must die.
Okay.
Or that you will. It's loosely interpreted. And it's because I saw like it's like a almost like religious theme in the music video of like the hoods. And then in the art world, like people with memento mori, it was just kind of this thing. It's like, think of like live, laugh, love, like now.
Okay.
But this time in the art world, it's like, remember you must die. And it's like a reminder that like life is fleeting.
That's like
It's
not
very
live,
morbid.
laugh, love at all.
I know, but it's like,
okay.
it's like the poster board, like it was so chic for a wealthy person to have like memento mori-esque paintings in their home. Because it was like a reminder of like, I can afford this beautiful piece, but also like, life is fleeting and I can't take my nice things with me. So I just have to like live like tomorrow isn't promised. Okay. And so like the themes in this music video in terms of like a little grim in the lighting, right? And then you have those hooded like costumes where it looks like kind of Grim Reaper-esque. And Memento Mori was also in line with this Vanitas painting, which everyone knows. It's like a skull with a feather and like a little like hourglass to remind you like life is short, so you better live it to the fullest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what I thought of.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for coming on. And thank you to the audience for tuning in to another episode of The K Factor, Everything K-Pop, where we pull back the curtains on the behind the scenes and everything that builds this wonderful industry that is K-pop. And thank you for your contributions today. Thank you for adding your beautiful and intense well of knowledge to this conversation. And thank you so much. Is there any final things that you would like to say?
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for having me on the podcast. It was a pleasure talking to you and talking about art and K-pop, but also just a reminder to everyone that you never have to sacrifice what you love to do for what you need to do. You can actually have both in this life. Yay.
Thank you. All right. Oh, do I have time? Do I have time? All right. Okay. Okay. Just kidding. We're back.
Okay.
Now you're going to react to my song.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh.
there's no art in it yet. There's no music video, no nothing. I'm just
Okay.
gonna play you the first 50 seconds of my song,
I have it loaded.
and you're gonna
Okay.
tell me what you think. If it's terrible, you have to tell me. Because last time I released a song, it was
Yeah.
terrible, and everyone I showed it to, they were like, "Oh, it's nice."
Well, lucky for you, I'm a kind person, so I can't let you walk around looking stupid or
Okay,
sounding stupid.
okay,
So
thank you.
I'm gonna let you
Okay,
know.
okay.
But I have a feeling it's not.
Okay, this is DUM, Dancing Until Moonlight.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right, strong open, strong open.
Colin's vibing.
Ooh, you stole my eyes. Ooh.
Cut. Thoughts.
Does Dua Lipa know she's cooked? Song of the summer right there.
Song of the summer?
Yeah.
Wow.
I can literally see myself like listening to this song. I'm like on a rooftop here in the city, maybe here in Brooklyn. I'm like, yeah, I have my watered down margarita that they charge me $25 for.
That
I'm
you
like,
have to pay tip for each drink.
yep.
Yep.
I'm like, this is what life is about.
Oh wow.
This is like song of the summer material. Dua Lipa, you have 30 seconds. Do you know you have 30 minutes?
Thank you. We'll cash app you $5 later. Thank you. All right. Now that's a wrap on the episode. Thank you very much. Thank you, Nina.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. We're good.